Welcome to the Mother-Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Hey ladies, this is your official invitation to join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise in January. We're going to meet in Fort Lauderdale and go through Key West. And then from Key West, we are going to go over to Bimini, Bahamas. If you have not been to the Bahamas in the last year or so, you've got to go. It is so wonderful, so lovely, so awesome. So far, we've got a good group of ladies that are already signed up. The max to go is 24, unless something wild happens, but 24 is the max. If you received the flyer from me, you know that you need to go ahead and get your deposit down. So we'll spend the first day in Fort Lauderdale getting on the cruise. It'll spend a day on the water. We'll get over to Key West, spend a day there. That'll be day 3. And then for day 4, we will be in Bimini, Bahamas, and we will spend an entire day there where we will just foo-la-la, foo-la-la, foo-la-la. And the final day, we will be back in Fort Lauderdale. I do suggest that you get to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the night before the cruise. I have seen people be left, so don't be one of them. Now, if you want to leave the day we get back, the cruise is going to be back. By the time you get off, it'll be 10. So if you want to book you a flight, book it after 10 or noon. You just saw the beautiful rooms that we are going to be booking. Yes, every room will have a balcony unless you declare otherwise. Now look at that water. Can you tell me you don't want to be there? Look at all those good markets. You telling me you don't want to be with the Winner's Circle? The Winner's Circle is for women owners of businesses that want to get together with other women from all over different places to be able to mastermind, to talk about our businesses, to grow, to support one another, to hear others' perspectives on how you can do things different in your business to be the best business and to grow your business. Anything that you can't talk about with other people, this is a great time. Join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise. Hey, mothers and daughters. Well, remember I told you that I was going to be producing a series for the month of June called Women and Success. So, of course, it's all about women because that's what our show is about, but the success, but more so the success story. And today I have a great interview, and this interview is going to be interesting because I am talking with a woman who is excited about her business. She's going to tell you about all the things that's involved in what she does. And I am going to let her introduce herself so that you can find out more about her. Now, of course, you know the way I do my interviews are going to be very conversational. And so we just never know what's going to pop up. But Miss Violet, thank you for being on the show today. And please introduce yourself and let us know about your company name. And then my first question is going to be, how did you decide to do that particular business?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be on your show and so excited, that we found a good time to do it in. I'm kind of a morning person, and I found another person that could do something in the morning. So
up every day at 3 a.m. So
oh my gosh.
it's like, I love to do things in the morning because then you have the rest of your day. When the rest of the world wakes up, then you have the rest of your day to take your phone calls and do the things you need to do around your home and things like that. So if we kind of like do things early and we're done, it's like, oh, I did that.
Exactly. It feels so good, like you said, just to get some of the important things done, and that way you can take care of everything else.
Absolutely.
So yeah. And well, my name is Violet Detre, and I'm a retired military spouse. My husband separated from the military right before the pandemic. We've been married 27 years, and I'm a 2-time best-selling author, speaker. I call myself a happiness advocate because of my story. I dealt with depression, and I found that happiness is what healed me. And that's one of the reasons that I wrote my first and second book. And that's what I try to share when I go on speaking engagements. And also I dabble in other types of entrepreneurial endeavors.
Okay, let's talk about that. Your first book, what's the name of the first book?
The first one is called Ready, Set, Go with Brian Tracy. And actually, I offer it to audiences for free, that first chapter that I have.
Mhm.
So you can just go to my website and ask for that, or I don't know if you'll put it in the show notes. It'll
Yeah,
have a bit.ly there with that,
yeah.
so they
All
can
of
just
the
go to it
information.
directly.
Yeah, all of the information will absolutely be in the description bar, and then they can have the links and everything. Now, how was it working with Brian Tracy? Because Brian Tracy and I were in a group called National Speakers Association for about 10 years, and he'd always say, "Come over and sit down." And I'd sit down and we just talk about stuff that I'm just like, it's just so cool to talk about just anything, not just about speaking and all of that stuff, but just about life and, other organizations and things like that. So, how was your experience working with him?
Well, I wish that I had worked with him directly. I think he was going through some health challenges. So what I did was an anthology. They call it an anthology. It's several
Yes, 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 yes.
authors. Yeah, they contribute different chapters. I contributed one of the chapters. And then we were invited to LA to receive an award. And we were supposed to meet Brian Tracy, I believe, but instead Jack Canfield was the one that stepped in.
He's awesome. Yeah, he was in NFA as well. As a matter of fact, when I got ready to write my first book in 2008, he was the first one that was just like, write the dang book. Just write the dang book. Like, what are you waiting for? If you're not going to do it, then stop talking about it. And I was like, I like his directness. Now, I was a little like, who do you think you're talking to? But I like his directness. Now, the name of the second book, your
The
second book.
second book is 52 Ways to Do Business and Life in Joy.
Good. I love You know what? Your titles of your books are so they're enthusiastic and they're capturing, and you are so right. I agree 100% that one of the ways to get out of a funk and get out of a depression and get out of a sadness is to get you some happiness. I have a little small pocket, well, it's not even a pocketbook because it's like 365 pages or whatever, but it's things you can do on a daily basis to keep yourself perked up and happy. So I love that you are putting that out into the world to let people know there are just little things that you can do, just even like self-talk, or like you and I are doing right now. We're talking to one another, we're getting to know one another and things like that. And it's exciting. And that's one of the reasons that, meeting new people is such a good thing, because you get to learn things about them that you're like, oh, we have similarities, or oh, I like that, or things like that. Now, I was reading in your bio description that you also are a speaker and that, yeah, you are a coach as well. Let's talk a little bit about that. And then I want to know that question of what made you start the type of business that you have now. You alluded to a little bit about, going through some of the things that you went through to get to the happiness part, but let's talk about the coaching and the speaking, and then let's go back to that question.
Well, the speaking, I apologize that I cannot relate to the stage fright type of thing. For me, it's exciting to get on stage. I'm excited. And I had to think about it. I said, well, why do some people, that's one of the worst fears that they have, to be able to speak or to get on stage, or once they get in front of people, they freeze up.
Yeah.
And it may have been because in fourth grade, I was unprepared for a speech.
Right.
They wanted me to share about the sun, I believe.
Mm.
And I tried my best, but I didn't make sense. I know I was not coherent, but my teacher, she applauded me.
Yeah.
She applauded me for trying, even though I didn't have a prepared speech. I messed it up like totally.
That's the
So
fright. Yeah.
maybe that's what just gave me the courage to say, just as long as you try, just get out there and share from your heart. And so I guess, and also my dad was an elder in the church, and he always volunteered to speak on, on the pulpit. So maybe that's another reason why, just speaking is one of the things that I like to do. I enjoy it.
Good. Now let's just talk about the coaching part now. So I know that you said you have your coaching programs and your coaching practice. What are, I would say, what's the number one thing you come across when someone comes to you and says, I'm looking for a coach, and here are the things that I'm looking to achieve from there. What type of individual do you look for to coach? Or what type of individual lands in your lap?
The best type of individual is somebody that is a self starter, that is really committed to their goals, really committed to their why. They're a good student. They're going to follow the coaching, what they say they're going to do, they're going to follow through on it, and then we can do it together.
Absolutely. I love that answer. Now, let me ask you this. What made you partake into the type of business that you do? I get what it did for you, but what made you say, you know what? I think I can turn this into a business because I meet a lot of people that'll have great business ideas and they think that those business ideas are almost like hobbies. And so they're one, afraid to charge for it, two, afraid to put it out there in the world and say, hey, this is what I offer. If you need my services, come to me. What made you say, I know I have something. I know that I can put a price to it. I know that I can help to make change. What made you take that step to do that? And is this what you do full time?
Well, that's a very good question because for me, it was when I was a young girl. I remember ever since, I don't know, maybe I was 10 years old, I think, I would charge my neighbors to come and watch movies at
Amen.
my house.
Amen.
So I
Amen.
had it from a little girl, I think,
So
just
instead
that
of a lemonade
entrepreneurial
stand, you
spirit.
had a movie theater.
Yeah, they came to our bunk bed. We had the little curtains, we put the little projector on.
Yep,
And I said, you're gonna have to pay for this. I'm bringing value to you. I'm bringing entertainment. So they would
exactly.
pay me 10 cents, to come and watch the movie. And I guess that's where the entrepreneurial bug started.
Like it.
Um, and for me, I love school. And after I was recovering from all that depression, I said, hey, what do I want to do? And my husband is a soldier and he has fellow peers, that were going to school and they
Hmm.
were getting good grades at a university. And I said, oh my, if they can do it with their full schedule, I'm sure I could do it.
That's right.
And I looked at the catalog and I saw coaching. That was the first time that I found out that coaching was an actual degree that I could pursue.
Right.
And I read the description. I said, oh, good listener. I love listening. Oh,
Right.
I like meeting new people. I
Yep.
love helping people to be successful. Sign me up.
Right. So it had all the elements of, wait a minute, I know I can do this type of thing, huh?
Yes, it was so exciting that I could use my gifts and talents to actually make money.
Exactly. When I did my coaching program, I did it through ICA, International Coaching Academy, and it was the first time that I ever even thought that I thought you had to go and get a PhD or a doctorate or something as like a psychologist or whatever, because I was comparing coaching to a psychologist or whatever. But when I realized that it was an independent study of its own, I got really, really excited about it. So that's good that you saw that in the catalog and went like light bulb on. Wait a minute, I can sign up and, do that particular type of business. How long has your business been in existence?
I have, I started coaching when I was, let's see, it was about 8 years ago, I think. That's when I first graduated. I took all of the degrees, all the certificates at Liberty University, which is a Christian school. And
Mhm.
then I went to graduate school so that I can get ICF certified. They said that coaching might actually get more rules and regulations. So
Yes.
I said, hey, might as well, get a degree for it and be prepared for that. If there are changes right now, you can just coach from your experience, which is super awesome.
It's wonderful because that's how you
And
get your Tony Robbins and your all the other people who they don't have degrees in it, but they sure know their stuff.
that's what I encourage people to do. I actually encourage them to do a timeline and see where they have gotten breakthrough or where their strengths are and be able to use that to start their own business. And you can do it online, just like we're doing. You can do it virtually. So it's so much easier right now.
Absolutely, you're right about that. How long did it take you to, how they say, get your wings and just smoothly fly? Because anytime you start a business or you embark upon a new venture, you're going to start with one version of what that business looks like to you. But by the time you're 3 years in, you look back and you go, oh, I've evolved. How long did it take you to kind of get evolved? Because that's the one thing I find with talking with women is they go like, well, I knew everything that I needed to do, but it wasn't until I actually started talking to people that I was like, oh, I didn't think about that element of surprise. So how long did it take you to get your wings and know that, wait a minute, I have this gift and I can expand this gift?
Well, I love what John Maxwell says, and I'm not sure he's the first one that said it,
Mm.
but to jump first and then build your wings on the way down. And you have to do that because I'm still growing, even after 8 years of
Right.
trying to get my message out there, trying to refine what I have to say to somebody, finding that ideal avatar. It's still, not only am I not there yet, I'm still growing in that area, but then it also evolves. That changes as we grow.
That's right.
And I just ran a challenge called Fulfilling My Destiny.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until then that I felt comfortable. Oh, I can actually coach people into business. Before it was more life coaching, just helping them with general, whatever your goals are, I can help you with. Not from A to Z, but I can get you from A to B,
Yeah.
moving that small needle forward.
And
But it
that
wasn't until,
big
I'm sorry. Hmm?
can be a big deal moving from A to B though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like you said, that those steps that people have to take, that action that people have to take. Sometimes all these limiting beliefs
Hmm.
uh, get in
Oh,
the way.
let's not even go there. That's a
And
real thing. That is,
some
the limiting beliefs can either propel you forward or it's going to keep you back. And if it's limited, you know where you're going.
and somebody reminded me
Yeah.
that the hardest thing for a business owner is to start.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
And that's the thing.
that is actually true because I'm in a lot of women's associations and just talking to women because I'm always inquisitive about women in business myself. I've been in business for 26 years, so when I see people just starting their businesses, when I tell you the curiosity in me of wanting to ask, what made you start that business? How did that work for you? What made you leave corporate America and come over and do it's because the starting part is the hard part because it's so uncertain. It's so uncertain. It's like
Mm.
getting, like you were saying a few minutes ago, like getting on the stage for some people is like the number one fear. And I think it's all about somebody's gonna judge them, or you're gonna get judged regardless, doesn't matter. You can be the beautiful beaming light and they're gonna say, well, who does she think she is? You're gonna be judged. So in business, I think people go through that same thing of going to be judged type of thing. If they've had another coach, for example, then they're going to compare you to, well, my other coach did it this way, and my other coach said it that way. And it's like, are we going to start fresh or not? Like, you're going to have to literally wipe your memory to start fresh with me. So, have you ever had clients like that where you've had to say, okay, wipe your memory and let's start fresh?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You People's experiences, they make them bigger than they are sometimes, and they remember the negative ones sometimes more than the positive ones.
Absolutely.
Um,
That's a
but
fact.
for me, it's like just taking that action, it brings clarity. Just and you don't have to do anything
That
big.
should
Like,
be on a t-shirt. Action brings clarity.
yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, just encouraging them to take that small step where they are, whatever they're ready for, whatever they can commit to 100%. Let's just do that. And very important to do it now before you
Yeah.
start analyzing and the questions and the arguing with yourself, you
Yeah.
know, rip the band-aid off.
So here we are today sitting in 2024. What are you working on? Because guess what? We're halfway through the year. It came and went so fast to get to, because whenever January comes, I'm always like, okay, by the time the middle part of the year gets here, yes, here's my list of accomplishments. We're in the middle of the year. What's next for you and your business?
Well, I believe that I saw a vision from God. He told me to be a billionaire.
There you go.
So I have a billionaire path. And right now, I'm speaking on stages. I'm finding the right people to follow. I just finished attending a 3-day event to up my mental game. I'm also taking a prophetic training class. So I'm growing and being able to not only hear from God, but also to be able to deliver prophetic words to other people that need encouraging, strengthening, and comforting.
Absolutely. Okay.
So those are some of the major things that I'm working on right now.
So sounds to me like you're working on a master plan. You're working on a master plan, and if it's given to you, by God, then I don't see where there would be any flaws in that because when we get those type of things downloaded into us, then we get busy onto doing those things. And I know that for a fact. I won't even share the story of how I know, but just know that I know. All right. So, what do you want to leave our audience with? Tell us. I'm going to ask 3 questions real quick. One, what's the one thing you want to leave our audience with? You've already given me the title for this show, and I'll tell you what that is. It's going to be the action statement that you just made, because that just kind of like boom hit me like, oh my gosh, that's so her personality. That's great. Number two, so you gave me that. Number two, I want to know if you could leave our listeners and viewers with one idea, tip, or any type of phrase, what would that be?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things that I want to share with your audience, so many things that I've learned and they could help them and
That's why
to break
everything
free.
you'll be able to see down. So just for the audience to know, you'll be able to link to all of her social medias, all of her website, and her Amazon link to a book or whatever. You can find all that information in the description. I do encourage you to go and click and find out and learn more. I'm giving you just a little bit of nugget and a little bit of a snippet here, but if you want to know more, there's no excuse for you not to, because it's going to be in the description box. Okay, back to you.
So what I've learned is that um, a lot of people say, hustle and grind and you got to do hard things and do things afraid. Well, what if that's not really true?
Mm-hmm.
What if all of those things could be reframed into how can I do this with joy? How can I do this in a fun way? How can I just jump and instead of being scary, it's exciting?
Yeah,
Instead of me being worried, maybe it's like, ooh, I'm ready for the next adventure.
yeah,
When you reframe those thoughts, it
yeah.
really helps you to take that action instead of, there's already so many things out there that can limit you and hinder you. Why add to that? Help yourself. Use
You're right.
what God has given in you because we have actually six, I believe, happy hormones or neurotransmitters.
Mm-hmm.
And you can remember them by the acronym DOSE,
Mm-hmm.
GN.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, GABA, norepinephrine.
Mm-hmm.
You have all of those that you can use
And
so that you can stay motivated, so that you can encourage other people, so that you can say, oh my goodness, how can I bring this good feeling to other people? And that's what's helped me to run my business a more smooth and an easier way and in flow.
I love it. Everything that you just said reminds me of you know how on your phone or your iPad or whatever you have phrases that maybe you have on your motivator, your daily motivator, like you were saying, you like self-starters and self-motivated people. And I have a phrase that comes to me 3 times a day, and it says, all you need is within you now."
Yes.
I was at a fire walking event in a part of Texas, and the guy said that, and he quoted where it came from, and I was like, oh, that's my daily motivator right there. That's one of them. I have several that come, through the day, because I'm kind of hard-headed and I need my motivation around me all the time. So that all I need is within me now, is it comes to me 3 times a day. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's almost like the reboot 3 times a day, just to keep yourself going. So I love that you're encouraging people to stay self motivated and to do things that get them there if they're not easily self motivated. So I know that in your coaching program, you probably have so many people that are leaving with a smile on their face and hope in their heart, and just, that piece of motivation. Because the truth is, every person is not self motivated. Some people need that extra push. Some people are hard headed like me, and they need the extra thing to show up to remind them of who they are, and what they're, here for. So I want to say thank you for one, taking the challenge. I'll say a challenge, because not everyone likes to be on camera. Not everybody likes to be interviewed. Not everybody wants to just kind of put it out there, because sometimes you put things out there and wonderful things are expecting. And listen, y'all, I am doing an interview with a future billionaire, so don't play with us. So I thank you for taking the challenge to be a part of this Women and Success series, because that is what I'm doing for the entire month of June. And I have probably 40 women that I will be introducing, and you're kicking off the month. So I'm excited to have you here. I will have everything in the description bar. Any last words before we go today?
Yeah, some people think that joy and happiness is just, they take it for granted. But I believe it's the key. It's the key to business. It's the key to life. I also do a speech called, the five big things that joy can help you with.
Mm.
And it's, for me, it was a life changer. It helped me to go from totally hopeless to just having this brand new life. It's like going from darkness to rainbows and color. And I tried it that way. Let me tell you, this way is so much better.
And right. And once you discover that, I know that probably gave you that extra oomph. I always tell people in business we need the extra oomph. We can't just go through regular. We have to have the oomph that takes us to whatever that next level is. Well, I tell you, I wish you all the best of everything in your business. Upward on everything that you touch turns to gold like the Midas touch. And you know what? That $1 billion is yours. And I think just from talking to you, you're probably like me, and it's not about the $1 billion, but it's the lives that you can change and affect in a positive way with the $1 billion, you know? So thank you for being my guest today on the Mother Daughter Ish podcast. And until next time.
I appreciate you having me.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye. Hey, ladies, this is your official invitation to join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise in January. We're going to meet in Fort Lauderdale and go through Key West. And then from Key West, we are going to go over to Bimini, Bahamas. If you have not been to the Bahamas in the last year or so, you've got to go. It is so wonderful, so lovely, so awesome. So far, we've got a good group of ladies that are already signed up. The max to go is 24, unless something wild happens, but 24 is the max. If you received the flyer from me, you know that you need to go ahead and get your deposit down. So we'll spend the first day in Fort Lauderdale getting on the cruise. It'll spend a day on the water. We'll get over to Key West, spend a day there. That'll be day 3. And then for day 4, we will be in Bimini, Bahamas, and we will spend an entire day there where we will just foo-la-la, foo-la-la, foo-la-la. And the final day, we will be back in Fort Lauderdale. I do suggest that you get to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the night before the cruise. I have seen people be left, so don't be one of them. Now, if you want to leave the day we get back, the cruise is going to be back. By the time you get off, it'll be 10. So if you want to book you a flight, book it after 10 or noon. You just saw the beautiful rooms that we are going to be booking. Yes, every room will have a balcony unless you declare otherwise. Now look at that water. Can you tell me you don't want to be there? Look at all of those good markets. You telling me you don't want to be with the Winner's Circle? The Winner's Circle is for women owners of businesses that want to get together with other women from all over different places to be able to mastermind, to talk about our businesses, to grow, to support one another, to hear others' perspectives on how you can do things different in your business to be the best business and to grow your business. Anything that you can't talk about with other people, this is a great time. Join us on the Winner's Circle Cruise.